Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Fallout New Vegas. So we're in a weird position. I drank one of the variants of Nuka-Cola, which gave me nighttime vision. And I'm about to do a quest where we're going to make it to Nellis Air Force Base, but we have to run under building so that we avoid getting blown up by the boomers. That is at least a hope. So yeah, this boomer territory, as soon as you walk in it, has people straight up shooting rockets at you from areas that I don't think you can even really see them. Like, my perception is pretty good. I don't think I'm doing this right. My companion is hurt. My health is low. I think you probably were supposed to be stealthing. More than what I just did. Good news is our companions I don't think can die. And we don't have power armor training, so we can't do that. Yeah, I don't know. I probably didn't follow instructions there correctly at all. But when all is said and done, I don't think stealth was going to be good enough.
Hold it right there. Don't you move. How the hell did you survive that bombardment?
Let's see. Let's go with who's in charge here.
I'm not telling you a thing, savage. Move a muscle now and I'll blow you to pieces.
Then
just stay where you are. Raquel will be here any second.
Now I'd like to still be in color.
I'm Raquel, Master at Arms
instead
for the Nellis
of in the
homeland.
black and white.
Mother Pearl, our eldest, wishes to speak to you. I oversee the security of the Nellis homeland, from the coordination of its defense to the training and fitness of its population. Confiscate your weapons? Certainly not. Personal armament is the foundation of social trust and responsibility.
Oh, so they're gun nuts.
As I said, she is our eldest. Mother Pearl has lived at Nellis from the start and has the wisdom of her age. She said that this day would come and that any savage to reach our gate should be brought to her. Follow close and mind your behavior.
So we're let in?
Welcome, child. Took your sweet time getting here, didn't you? I've been waiting a good 5 years for an outsider to come along and visit.
So this was probably a little girl when the bomb spell, and that probably explains, like, the timeline for New Vegas in particular is rather close to when the bomb spell. Let's see. What do you mean you were expecting me?
Prophecy. Do we look like a bunch of religious idiots? I just hoped a savage, outsider, sorry, would make it to our gates before one of those armies out there comes knocking. That's right, child. Mother Pearl knows a storm is gathering. Times are changing. Maybe time for us to change a little too. Oh, so many ways. Small ones to begin with, so we can get used to what it's like to have a outsider around and about. Should that go well, maybe you can help in big ways too.
So we have now a whole new quest of just another base, another community that we're trying to work with. Speech check here of 20. Funny, a speech check of 20, and yet really you need an endurance and a health that is super high to make it to the gate. Unless there really was a way to just like use a stealth boy to get to the gate, or to run and follow instructions better, avoid getting hit. Although getting hit got me a perk of tough guy, and so we'll need to check that too. In Fallout 3 there is a point where the screen goes black and white like this because you're in a simulation, and yeah, that effect is put to much better use than just the night vision turning everything black and white.
You have to keep in mind that you're our first contact with the outside world since I was barely a woman. Seclusion has kept us safe, but the world around us is changing. Neon lights in the distance, patrolling robots, soldiers. My youngers think our guns can keep out the world, but I think we need to let it in just a little, or become its victim. You're that little bit of the world, child. Welcome to Nellis.
20 XP for getting to this point.
You picked a good time to stop by, for we're swimming in problems. My youngers can tell you all about it. Raquel could use help with the bug problem. Doc Argyle has wounded he's tending to. And Loyal and Jack might be looking for help with some repairs. Or you could just go see Pete at the museum and hear the story of our people. All you have to do there is listen. Come and go as you like, help or don't help, I leave it up to you. But I hope you'll show my youngers that not every outsider needs to be blown up.
Watch your step, sister.
Hey.
So we're still just waiting for the boomer effect to end. Or not the boomer effect, but the night vision effect to end. My health is getting refilled, but my limbs, I believe, are crippled, so stim pack for that. Now, as my health refills, will it refill the damage on the limbs? I don't think it actually does. The tough guy perk. Repeatedly breaking bones has led them to become stronger somehow. So we're at full health now. Our limbs don't look like they're going to heal anymore. And yeah, we just kind of have a bathroom in that building in a room. There probably is a snow globe somewhere here, but I have a hard time seeing it. We don't want to start searching for things. Super Stim Pack wearing off. Pearl is sleeping there. It is kind of noticeable that in Bethesda games, if somebody is supposed to talk to you but it happens to be nighttime, like in the middle of the night, 12:30, 2 a.m., they will then just return to their sleeping spot. They won't just stand where they are. Alright, finally the color is back into things. Right. Let's just make sure our health is relatively good. And his health is perfect.
Watch your step. Mother Pearl's instructions are clear. You can move freely around Nellis, and artillery spotters have orders not to fire on you. These are extraordinary privileges. Don't abuse them.
Let's see, let's ask about the bug problem.
Long story short, the power failed a few days ago because giant ants have tunneled into the generator room and set up a nest. I led a team down to exterminate them, but there were so many of them. We lost. 2 killed, 3 wounded. Personally, I think it's more than a savage can handle. But if you want to kill those ants and switch the power back on, feel free. Sure, anyone can. But there's more than a few down there. See for yourself. One other thing. The ants must be eating gunpowder from the munitions down there, or something. They exploded when hit by a flamethrower. One of us was using a laser pistol. Same thing. Bullets seem okay. Just don't hit the artillery shells. Loyal's been working on some kind of weapon to use against them. Maybe you should check with him.
Okay.
Watch your steps, sister.
So the boomers have a bunch of US military outfits that they're wearing. And I doubt we're just gonna have the local map show us things. So we're gonna have to just walk around a little bit to see where was that main gate. My inventory is going to get full fairly quickly, but we'll deal with that later. Let's see. This is Pearl's barracks. Let's see if we can find the other barracks. Nellis schoolhouse. Interesting.
Watch your steps, sister.
Crunchy monk fruit. Interesting. Fixing Things magazine. I think what would be more interesting though is if we just waited 8 hours until it's daytime. And this is a great example of where it shouldn't, like, nighttime should really be roughly 2 hours in a game, and daytime should be 22 hours.
What? I know Mother Pearl is letting you wander Nellis as you please, outsider, but I have patients to tend to. I have 3 patients here who were gravely injured fighting those giant ants in the generator building a few days ago. I've stabilized their wounds, but they're in bad shape. Do you have medical training?
Yes. Or we can lie.
If what you say is true, you can do us a world of good.
I don't know why we would lie, since we do have high medical stats. Treat the
I thought that man
infection.
was done for, but you brought him around.
This is the same quest
There was some fine doctoring.
that you did in the
Learn a thing or two
NCR.
from you. Excellent treatment. I hadn't thought of that.
So yeah, it is a smarter move, certainly, though, to just let you benefit more from having medicine skills. Where in Fallout 3, you really don't do anything.
You okay?
Alright, so here's the kids, and these are the exact same kids models from Fallout 3. Like, exactly the same kids. Which probably highlights that a couple things, that you're not going to see that many kids anyways. Let's see what happens if I just sit down.
Hello. Bye.
I think they're just going to sit down and stand up a
Hello.
bunch.
Hey.
Talk to Lindsay.
Hey there, lady. Can you help me find Mr. Cuddles? Mr. Cuddles is my teddy. Thanks. Hi. Hi there. What?
See if any of these other kids have names.
Nice day we're having.
Now, all these kids in Fallout 3 were living in a cave.
Nice day we're having. Hi.
Let me
You're
just
making
make
me
sure
carry
we
the
don't
heavy
have
stuff, aren't you?
a Mr. Cuddles. We have picked up teddy bears. Let's see if the map now points us to. So we have an optional quest here, and then the generator room, I assume, is there. And we are way at the top of Nellis, from the looks of it. So I assume we're gonna find Mr. Cuddles just around somewhere. I also kind of question whether we're going to have too much going on as a Dean's Electronics. Let's make a safety save and steal that. Because that's a book. It definitely would be nicer if you could just pick up books and read them and then put them back down. So repair skill has now been increased by 4. Our karma overall, I imagine, is at a very high value. I think fixing things is a magazine. Let's see. Overcharging bullets. We now know gives us bullets that we can use to sell. We still really don't have anything though that we can craft. Is this the museum where we just have to listen?
You're the outsider. Mother Pearl sent word that you'd be stopping by. You must be eager to hear the story of our people. Wonderful. I'm sure you've noticed the mural on the wall of this hut. Shall I tell you what it all means?
So this
Excellent.
is just going to be a
Imagine
dialogue
you're the
tree.
first outsider to ever hear our tale.
Seems like we may just need to follow him and watch.
Ages ago, long before I was born, we lived underground. Everyone had guns, but the
Vault
overseer wouldn't
34.
let us explode anything, not even a hand grenade. We left and wandered the wastes. There were savages with knives. We blew them up with frag mines and grenades, burned them with flamethrowers. It was neat, but there was a downside. For every 43.6 savages we killed, we lost one of our own. We needed a new home. We needed Nellis.
Notice how his head is just waving back and forth. It's just a really terrible animation.
Here we have prospered and multiplied. Here our mighty guns destroy any savages who might try to harm us before they can even reach our gates. Well, until... But... Not saying you want to harm us or you're a savage, but anyways. Nellis has revealed many secrets. It has taught us how to fly the bombers once based here, and it has taught us where to find one.
Interesting. They're gonna find the bomber? Using...
And that is our story so far. For this last image is our future. To restore the bomber, to fly the open skies in armored safety, raining high explosive ordnance upon ignorant savages. This is our destiny. I'm pleased that you listened to the entire story. Perhaps there are details you'd like to know more about. Let me know.
So we gained some fame there, and we found the snow globe.
Hi. So long.
I wasn't really expecting a kid to tell me. It
Hello.
feels like this base
Now
may
that
be
you know the
full of
story our
kids.
people, you must have all sorts of questions. Me? I'm Pete.
So
Keeper of the
I wonder
story.
if this is a
I
case
know I
where
seem kind of young.
Nellis is
I
about
was
to
the
fall
apprentice
apart
keeper of the
because
story until
there's
a couple
just
months ago, but old
too many
keeper died.
kids, not enough adults.
Whiskey and landmines don't go together. So it's up to me. I bet you want to know everything about us.
Let's see.
Ask away.
And let's exhaust us.
So you know about the vaults? Yes, we lived in one of those. Ours was numbered 34. In our vault, everyone had guns, but the overseer wouldn't let you fire off any of the really fun ones. I guess all the little pops and bangs at the firing ranges just got boring after a while.
Our explosion stat is very low. Should we even try this? Or should we just go with a different line of dialogue?
That's nice, but it's not really the scale of explosion that interests us. Anything else you want to know?
Yeah, you don't get penalized for failing.
Several automatic warheads detonate here 100 years ago, leaving the base highly radioactive. The savages of the waste, ignoramuses, all avoided Nellis by habit. That's exactly right. You're very knowledgeable for a Sav, an outsider. Anything else you want to know? Nellis is a completely self-sufficient community. We draw water from Lake Mead, solar arrays provide power, and we grow our own crops.
Survivals. Are they cannibals?
We are certainly not cannibals. We're not savages like some people. We supplement grains and green vegetables with soy and legumes. That's how we get our protein. Anything else you want to know? You're right. They weren't here when we discovered Nellis. We found the guns at a huge weapon depot called Area 2, many miles from here. It took many weeks to drag the guns and their ammunition back to Nellis, and it was the last time any of us set foot beyond our homeland. Thank you so much. I'll be sure to pass that on. Anything else you want to know?
Trying to get as much experience as possible.
Once we restore power, we learned that some elaborate chairs we've been sleeping in were actually virtual reality simulators. We believe they were used to train combat pilots. We used them extensively. I alone have shot down over 500 Chinese Zion 85 fighters. Before you ask, I'm afraid there's no way you can be allowed to use the simulators. They're for our use only. Sorry. That's beautiful. Yes, it's exactly like that. So free, so... words can't do it justice. Anything else you want to know?
The idea of a society and a vault that was all about just being super pro-gun makes a great amount of sense to exist in every single Fallout game. And frankly, you should see more of that. Like, obviously, there's a ton of guns in this world. Way more guns than you actually would have found in reality hundreds of years after a Great War. But, yeah. The downright gun worship is kind of lackluster in New Vegas. in most of the Fallout games.
Loyal found a file somewhere on the base with magazine articles, photographs, a map even. It seems that a bomber, apparently the 29th of its kind, crashed in Lake Mead on July 21st, 1948. Just imagine, that's over 300 years ago. The photograph shows that it was basically intact, and the map tells us exactly where to find it. Except we haven't left Nellis in decades.
So we've heard that rumor before.
Yes. In fact, that's exactly what Loyal has planned to do. You should go talk to him. I wish everyone were just as interested in our story as you are. Maybe I should act out the battles, or learn how to throw my voice.
Let's go with the last thing.
Over at the workshop, Loyal and Jack are always building something. The Loyal may not be too happy to see your kind running around Nellis. Bye.
So we are now liked by the society. And I don't think that's just because I'm playing on easy. I think that is just that they want you to have this full experience, but they also want you to kind of accomplish it fairly quickly and not have to do a dozen side quests to get to that point. There is gas in this room. I don't think it's going to poison me, but I do think if I was to fire a bullet in this room, I probably would explode into flame. This one's just boarded up. Now I'm assuming that I'm not just going to find a teddy bear around the building. That'd be a little too demanding to just have to randomly search the entirety of Nellis L4 space. And we are just hitting a wall, I think. I don't think there's going to be even a gate on this side because we are close enough to the top of the map that I wouldn't be surprised if maybe this entire top of the map is just filler.
Hello.
Just intentionally designed to make it so you don't see the hard invisible walls, which at a certain point I imagine they may even pop up hard invisible walls if you try to walk in that direction. If you could somehow like clip through the fence using console commands or something like that. We are running back into that same problem though of wasteland areas being flat and fairly empty. So, yep. I would kind of just expect that radiation would be really, really high if you could clip through these fences and go in that direction. And I expect anytime I'm walking in water I should really get at least one radiation just for a little bit more of an immersive experience and for radiation to really matter, because right now it doesn't really give the feeling that radiation matters. So it seems to me like the kids think that they're going to get this bomber and then they're going to be able to use the bomber to take on the Legion and the NCR and Mr. House and just keep their isolationism working. I suspect it's Pearl's hope that they decide to end their isolationism and integrate with the rest of society. And possibly it will be a case where the bomber is going to be used in conjunction with the NCR against the Legion, or maybe even in conjunction with the Legion against the NCR, or in conjunction with the Legion and the NCR against House. That's their house. I don't personally know how you write a three-directional war. It seems like that would be difficult for a video game to really express. A war on different fronts. Okay. Is this possibly loyal?
I can take care of that robot problem for you. Just saying.
Okay. Loyal may have something to help you kill the ants. Kill all the ants in the generator room. Is that the generator room? Okay. Seems to me like loyal is inside the building, maybe. This is the generator room. The other one is way over here. Okay, so we've got to run back. Getting a unique gun that you should use in a mission is a good way to change things up. If it works well here, you would like to see it happen more often. That is, I think, also a situation that highlights how a lot of games feel like they experiment with one thing once, and then for one reason or another they don't use it as a reoccurring theme. And sometimes it's pretty obvious that it was an experiment that just wouldn't work if it was a reoccurring theme, and it would probably be fairly annoying if every single mission you were given a completely different gun to use. But it certainly could happen more often, and we have seen them be willing to repeat content. So there's both an inside and an outside section to all of this.
Hungry for grub? Here is what we have.
Buy food from him. We'll just buy those and those.
Bye.
Well, this would be considered stealing. So there are more adult boomers. And them being called boomers may be ironic, as far as
Hello.
the baby boomer generation. Some of the adult heads and voices are very repetitive. Though, I don't really appreciate the lack of polish there. It again just feels like too much of an emphasis on making a giant warehouse layout and level design, and not enough emphasis on just having a better face generation system. Yeah. Well, you probably would never convince Bethesda to give up the Creation Engine, the Unreal Engine being a more used engine, a third-party engine, has some major improvements that they've made recently.
Earl gave the green light.
As far as
take a look at the map.
These are weapons. Let's see if we can find any weapon that we could really buy or could afford. Get rid of anything that's taking weight. Let's see if we can possibly sell some bullets. Okay, we sold too much. We'll take back the gun runner stuff, I guess.
Bye.
Not too much in the hangar to really see you do. Then here's the virtual reality pods, which would be nice if you could use them, but then that would require them to have to program a whole different kind of gameplay. A flight simulator. Here's a character.
So you're the outsider. Lived your whole life out there, huh? Wow. I always thought you savages probably spoke a different language. Me? I work with Loyal. Mostly electronics work and robotics. Keeping the old technologies alive, right? Loyal's a great man, but he's getting on in years. So a younger's gotta learn everything he knows. That'd be me. The man knows how to fix and build just about everything that was ever made.
Make more sense to teach it to multiple people, not just one person.
Oh, I figure it's been a nice day. Yeah, a real nice day. Did I say that? Sometimes I just say stupid things. Sorry about that. Pearl will tell you when the time comes. I should really be going. Hey there. Back for more? What I could use is some scrap metal. It may not sound exciting, but around here we have to recycle every rivet and plate. The other thing, you being from the outside and all, well, I guess you'd call it a personal matter, but, well, forget it.
I definitely could get scrap metal.
That must be nice. Sharing yourself like that. Not being embarrassed or anything. Well, the thing is, there's this girl. Oh, you can't miss her. She has short red hair and she's the most beautiful woman who ever lived. You'd really talk to her for me? What if she feels the same way? What if she comes here like you did? What if she gets blown up? What if she doesn't like me? Oh, geez. I better just let you handle it. I'm better with machines. They don't make my stomach queasy like this. That would be amazing. As in, I would thank you forever.
Okay.
Have you seen her? Oh. Like I said. See ya.
Okay.
So, I
Here's
hope Pearl
Loyal.
knows what she's doing, letting you wander around Nellis as you please. I started building a sonic emitter that might do the trick, but it's useless without knowing the exact frequency that would kill the ants.
So we have a science 50 or a speech 50.
Hot damn, you're right! It's a matter of boosting across those thresholds, not exact amplitude. You're smarter than you look. Just so happens I was testing it at 24,000 hertz, so it should be good to go. Place it near their nest and cross your fingers. Signal's too high for people to hear, so no harm done. But it might make you feel sick to your stomach. What is it, outsider? If that's so, how about you look into repairing the source? Nothing too complicated about it. You can't miss the array.
Let's see.
Are you talking about that damn bright light we've seen blast off to the south occasionally? I was wondering what the hell that was. If they've got the parts, bring them on back. We need to get the array back up and charging. All right, what's on your mind? No, those aren't for outside. Well, if you genuinely care so much, they're flight simulators. If you don't know our history yet, you should see Pete and get the tour. We dream to one day rule the skies. Don't get blown up.
Okay, so we have several quests we've made progress on now. Let's run in here and see what this all looks like. Now, scrap metal. Probably could find some scrap metal just here that we could steal. But we could also just find a bunch of scrap metal at Helios 1, which seems like where we're going back to anyways. Yeah. You have an odd combination here of hallways, some of which kind of go nowhere, and then a much larger open area section. And here we have what looks like the parts of a plane, but not a fully assembled plane. It is worth questioning, certainly. Does it benefit society as a whole to reintroduce planes and bombers, while airplanes might lead to faster travel and better travel? It's not like the world is at peace. So very quickly it would be used to make troops travel.
Hello.
And make war, not peace. Invertibirds already exist, and the NCR has them, though, so it's not like you're just reintroducing a technology that doesn't exist. You're just giving it to this group of people. Okay. So quests now are this one, which would be go back to Helios 1 and find spare parts. Which, let's just go ahead and do that. The only real question here would be, are we supposed to go inside the building or outside the building? I can't go to the power plant without people being mad at me. Apparently not through that door. And I would assume the rest of these doors and things we've already done things with. It's just that the doors have all been reset. I hope I'm going the right direction. I may very well not be. I may very well. I've never been to this section before. Would have thought I would have taken the bullets at least if that was the case. If I'd been there. What's this? Can I tell him? Oh. Yeah, we already read that. See, I don't think she has anything new.
Later.
I do think there is a way past this fence through the building. I'm hoping that there might be a way in otherwise. Nope. I think you've got to go through the building. This is definitely a quest designed to make you go back to Helios 1, so if you were to flatten out the map and not have it be a 2D pictorial representation of the world, but instead be a, yeah, it's gotta be, yeah, it's way over here. If you instead had it be a branching list, or a star chart, I guess would be the best chart to describe it as, then Helios 1 would almost certainly be a central spoke in the wheels of a star chart. We are looking for scrap metal, so I need to remind myself to grab that if I see any. I think I may just be totally on the wrong path here. And yeah, very obviously some of the quests are designed in such a way that they force you to go back to central spokes in the hopes that those central spokes would then spin around and send you into multiple different directions. This is where Fantastic would have been.
Hey, man.
There's nothing
Yo.
new to say here, I'm sure.
Adios, amigo.
And then here we have the other
What can I
guy.
help you with? Goodbye.
And we don't have
Hey,
anything
man.
new to say to him, even though quest-wise there's probably something that should be said there. Okay. So we will follow the green arrows and see if this means we're just going to find certain solar arrays that can be interacted with, or if there's just going to be certain spare parts. Yeah. They are all over in this yard. The good news is that it does tell me what I'm looking for. And it tells me we're not going into the inside part. I'll take some scrap electronics, but I think we're looking for scrap metal, not scrap electronics. We'll just keep looking at the main map. I heavily questioned last time I was here whether you would end up finding anything in the rows of these arrays. I did not think, though, that the broken arrays themselves were going to be the things you would salvage. And they obviously were not things you could interact with before. And I don't think we're going to really run into any enemies. While doing this. So this is going to be a fairly short experience. Apparently there is a dog here that has respawned. Kill that for 10 XP. 3 bullets if you don't use your bats. Still getting kill cams, despite the fact that we told them to turn that off. Is it really worth it to pick up dog hides and make leather belts and sell leather belts? Just don't think it really is. Scrap metal. We've got at least 1 scrap metal now. There's another one over here, I think. Nope, that is pointing me in other directions. I just want to make sure that we don't have another quest here. We're also looking for information about the pulse gun at Nellis Air Force Base. It's just a lot of overlapping things. Crimson Caravan. So he just wants scrap metal to get trust. Okay. You know what, forget that. Let's just fast travel to the array. And we'll turn in scrap metal and stuff like that later. Okay. Let's see. So any of these broken ones, we can do it with the salvaged parts. Although our repair skill probably would have been high enough that we could have just skipped that. So let's see what happens if we do that. That gave me 50 XP when I did it that way. So collecting all the spare parts might have been the bad choice. No, that gives you 50 XP, so it's either way you do it, it's fine. You get the same amount of XP either way. So that quest is done. Let's go ahead and go into the generators. Do we actually have the item, though, as far as ant misbehaving? Place loyal sonic weapon. Not in the weapons section. Nothing labeled as loyals. We have a loyal sonic weapon here. Sonic emitter. That is probably it. So let's go ahead and turn on our flashlight to try and get some brightness. There are a lot of locations here. Kill all the ants in the generator, restart the 2 array generators, then restart the main power breaker. And we'll pick up ant meat while we're doing all this. They said there was going to be a bunch of ants.
Uh-oh.
I'm not sure. Really, there's that many. We've just got like plenty of bullets, so it's not even worth trying to save bullets and let Veronica smash them with the super sledge. What I will do though is I'll just run around. We can see warheads. In the other Fallout games we've seen locations like this where there are missiles and warheads still, and just plenty of places where you can fill up your inventory, but also where you can see that the world still has a lot of opportunity to blow itself up even post the bombs falling. Ammunition in particular is great to pick up, and if that was the only thing on shelves, definitely would be a different game. I do think Fallout should have some light air of a role-playing game always. I don't think you just make it 100% a action experience, but my comparison would probably be something like Gears of War. There probably should be a little bit of role-playing in all of Fallout, but you could definitely reduce it significantly to some just basic attributes. Keep the special, keep the perks, get rid of a lot of the vendor trash items, reduce the number of bullets, reduce the amount of guns down to just an important subset of weapons and guns. I feel like I may have just come in the back door and now I'm not gonna really have to even fight the ants. There's another thought here, that if I kill the ants with the sonic weapon, am I going to get the same amount of experience, or am I going to get less experience? Than if I hunted down and just shot all the ants. What is the deal with the local map? Why do we see so many locations? Are we supposed to put the sonic emitter in the inventory of where is it? I think it's a miscellaneous thing. But no, it's not letting me do that. Okay, no, you place it on this out, man. Then activate the sonic emitter. So bug stomper perk +2, 130 XP. Okay. So that just killed all the ants there, and I can't pick that up. So then the question becomes, was there anything else? Nope. So I could have done that on this mound, but I think there were other mounds that would have also been viable to do that on, but maybe not. Maybe that was the only the one mound, and maybe if we'd started the generators without that, we would have just been overrun by ants. We start the 2 array generators, then we start the main power breaker. Okay. So those are the 2 generators, I guess. And maybe the ants would have exploded more if I had shot them. And that saved me a lot of time and gave me probably the same amount of experience, but I do question if maybe I've now missed out on some ant meat. Not that ant meat's important. Okay. There's an ant that just looks like it's dead. Maybe the sonic emitter did that and killed all the others. Here we have a dead boomer, which will take the outfit and the gun, become over encumbered. Let's see if we could maybe do something about that. So yeah, we came in the back door, and this would be the front door. Right. Let's see if we can address being overburdened. Love this cell. Items. So I'm trying not to really just throw away items.
You're making me carry the heavy stuff, aren't you?
Take that gun, take that gun, take that gun, that's useless. That. I hope she doesn't actually use the grenade launcher if I gave it to her. This gun, damage per second is still kind of low. Giving her the Brotherhood of Steel power armor alone will empty my inventory quite a bit. Then ant meat, ant eggs. She can carry all of that. Alright, good. Then let's just quickly run around and see if we can find any more boomer outfits or anything else of any real value. Those aren't ant eggs. This is an elevator, but doesn't seem particularly functional. There's some scrap metal. We are in a weird position here where I kind of need to go back to the Crimson Caravan, turn in a couple things. I wish the game had more exit signs that actually worked. That would be a great way of breadcrumbing the right direction to go. But yeah. So we need to return to Rachel, which is way over here. So we can effectively, we're just wandering the base. see what we can see. We're still looking for information about a laser rifle, too. So anywhere we could find information about that, that would be helpful for another quest. But I wouldn't be surprised if the laser rifle in development is hidden on a computer or something. Here you can see Vault 34 jumpsuits. You can see them forming.
Watch your step, sister.
And I assume there's just something being formed in those tents. A lot of buildings in this game that lead to nothing. A lot of empty tents also walled up. Not that I think the game would actually be any better if every single building did have an opening section in it. In New Vegas in particular, exposure to the outside could be a gameplay mechanic. It would be a bad gameplay mechanic, but certainly could play a role where you just need to get out of direct sunlight, or you're going to be always taking sun damage or always gaining thirst. And it does seem like on higher difficulty levels that's exactly what happens.
Hello? I see the power's back on. The ants are all dead? Maybe Pearl is right about you, because I don't know how you pulled that off. I'll tell Loyal to send someone down to clear out the eggs and repair the generators. Good work.
300 XP for doing that. Is that gonna get us? See, and these barrels here are
So we may
specifically in case you're following here, so you can jump back out. Thought I saw someone sleeping there. So you return the pearl is now the next step. Valor. Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like you're just going to wander into the right place. I'm still seeing a lot of visual glitches. Now, I'm going to dare say I haven't seen the game crash in a while, so we've gotten probably just lucky. It would be kind of weird if the game became more stable as you went along playing it. But later parts of the game may get played by playtesters more, which could explain it being smoother if that was the case. I don't believe that's really what's going to happen. I imagine the game is going to crash fairly quickly.
I believe the time has come for you to show your value in full. The people have come to accept having you around. Find Loyal and ask him about our people's fondest dream. He will tell you what to do next.
Okay. So before I do that, I want to go and do this. So just fast travel to the Crimson Caravan. Increasingly, we can see how the game is encouraging us to play the open world less and less. just instead having you focus on moving the missions forward for XP and fast traveling to locations that you will have almost certainly already visited and engaged with at least once. So here is
That
our
fiend leader shouldn't have messed with our great
character, Janet, named character, who apparently there's a love story here.
You should go talk to Blake or Alice. They handle most of our contact with visitors.
Let's see.
I watch all sorts of things with my binoculars. Who wants to know? And why? Nice looking blonde boy? I always wondered if he was watching me back. What's he like? Really? That's so sweet. I'd love to go meet him. Is there any way the boomers would let me visit Nellis?
Let's see. We're gonna have to ask Pearl to make
This
an
is so
exception.
exciting. Let me know how it turns out.
So we have to go back and talk to Pearl about that. So we're going just back and forth, back and forth. Meanwhile, do you think we have a quest here to turn in?
Very good. On occasion, it's proven to be more profitable in the long run to simply buy out the competition. And this is one of those occasions. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, so that's a quest done. Now can we... And we could turn in this one, we could do this one. This one we're still looking for the gun info. Let's see. So if we fast travel to the Nels hangars, we're still kind of far away from Pearls. Yeah, we gotta turn around here and go this way. This is just way too big of an area. Number one thing you could fix in games like this, and most games, just have faster walking animations, faster running animations. Although in the case of this game, I think they probably are slowing down your walking animation just to have better loading.
You have done well to earn the trust of my... Well, well, this is welcome news. Who is she? She's with those traders? They've tried to contact us before, but I'm not interested in trading with greedy savages. This presents a bit of a problem. Jack isn't allowed to leave Nellis, and I doubt she would make it through the artillery alive. I suppose Jack deserves a chance at love. You can tell Jack she has a free pass to enter, but he is responsible for her actions. Do not make me regret this decision, outsider. Loyal still needs help getting the plane back to Nellis. See ya.
So, a lot of walking here. I am concerned that this is going to turn out bad as far as the young love. That the writers of video games just would not have it within them to tell a regular love story, and instead they are going to tell some kind of tragic Romeo and Juliet story, imagining that they can do better than Shakespeare as far as Romeo and Juliet goes. Where I would like to see this just work out. In Fallout 3 there was a romance similar situation, and it was a little bit messy, if I recall correctly. You basically forced someone into a marriage who probably shouldn't have been going into a
Pearl sent word saying it's all
marriage.
right to tell you about the lady and the water. A long time ago, long before the war that killed just about everything that ever lived, a bomber crashed not far from here. A bomber was a flying contraption that could drop explosives down on anything it flew over. But anyway, moving on. This bomber crashed down in Lake Mead, pretty damn near intact. When we got to Nellis, see, I found this article in a magazine all about it. There was another B-29 around here, part of a museum. Couldn't fly, but had a lot of spare parts, see? Get where I'm going? Since I was a young man, I've dreamed of raising that lady from the lake and bringing her back to life. What do you say?
Let's see.
It's at the bottom of Lake Mead. I'll mark its location on your Pip-Boy map.
Then ask the other question.
Attach deployable ballast to the plane and float it on up. Here is a remote detonator. Once the ballast is attached to the plane, just hit the detonator from the shore and let... Good. Here's the deployable ballast. Go find the plane, attach the ballast, and hit the button. Might try holding your breath. If that doesn't sound good enough, talk to Jack. He was working on a rebreather once.
Okay, so if Jack gives us a rebreather, there's at least one other place I know where we can benefit from having that. And not drowning. There isn't, though, enough flooded areas in the game to justify having a rebreather and swimming as a mechanic in general.
Have you seen her? The redhead of my dreams? She does? You mean it? That's incredible. What happens next? Can she come here? How do we make sure she doesn't get blown up? Should I talk to the gunners or to Pearl? Here, take this boomer outfit. I'll let the gunners know she's coming, and not to shoot at her.
Boomer outfit for Janet.
I can't believe
Before he leaves,
have you seen her?
We need to talk to him about several other things.
You said you talked to her.
Scrap metal.
Cool. How much can you spare? Thanks. Thanks for dropping it off. I just need some parts from a pressure cooker to create a hermetic seal for the rebreather. That's a brilliant idea. Here you go.
So, I didn't want to have to go find the pressure cooker.
Bye.
Great. So, is the rebreather a item you equip? Yes. Yep, it is just a face mask type item. Where are we with the other quests now? Need to tell the Loyal that the array has been repaired also. Just trying to finish all these quests. I didn't think these two characters would be in the same place.
It's going to be a dream come.
There we go.
An impressive piece of work. I'll keep that in mind if jobs come up in the future. See ya.
Another 300 XP, and then we are now idolized by the boomers. So we're getting these things done. We also have some McCarran things that we need to go back and finish. And this Heartache by the Number quest seems to be weirdly finished. This quest seems not to be completely finished for some reason. And that's strange because feels like something we should be doing. Okay, we are here, and the information seems to be outside the building. We're just gonna follow the arrow to the quest, which that highlights an issue, certainly, that you can just go completely brain dead if you want to and follow the arrows instead of having to role play and actually figure out why information about a gun would be in a specific spot. But then you also have subquests that are just not mentioned on the marker, and I really would like to see that improved in Bethesda games for sure. Like any RPG game really should be listing all the subquests too. So as far as finding the teddy bear as a subquest, we probably will never find it and we'll just forget about it completely. I turned around. It's weirdly pointing to, I guess, Pearl's bunker. So we're supposed to open the desk and filing cabinets, or ask her about the gun.
You have done well. Don't.
Okay. Well, the arrow says it should be in a filing cabinet right here, or hidden. So we'll take the inventory and Colonel Blackwell's key, I guess. And that's going to point us to Vault 34. Which we haven't been to Vault 34. Good. So at least we now know what we're doing. Meanwhile, we will fast travel back to Crimson Caravan, where we are also idolized, and talk to Janet. Find Janet over here. These fences are not easy enough to jump over. It's definitely not a parkour game, although kind of would like it to.
Hello again. How's your boomer friend? Okay, talk to you soon. Hello again. How's your boomer friend?
That was the wrong prompt
I was hoping
to
you
click
would.
on.
What's going on? Have they agreed to my safety yet? There's one more thing. I have a work contract with the Crimson Caravan, and if I walk away, I lose the wages they owe me. Could you do just one more thing for me and talk to Alice McLafferty about it? I know if I do it, she'll just say no. I'd hate to lose the money.
Okay. So I assume this is a speech check.
Welcome back. Ah, yes. Her infatuation with a boomer she's never met. It's a small camp. Word gets around. She's aware she's breaking her contract, which is undoubtedly why she sent you to talk to me instead of coming herself. Janet is free to leave, but she forfeits the wages she's owed. That's the price of contract breaking. Take it or leave it.
So we have a speech of 75. Or we have a barter of 62, which would just fail. I don't even know why they give you these options, other than to just let you know that if you were to play the game a second time.
Being sentimental is not how I made the Crimson Caravan so successful. But I'll allow it, just this once. Janet will be paid what she's owed. Consider it a gift.
It gives us some more XP. It is a little off-putting to pull a gun on somebody. Just by default when you get out of the conversations. I feel like probably would make sense for the guns to just always be down after you talk to somebody.
That's great. I can't believe you went through all this trouble for me. Thank you.
No, I kind of want to chase her. Just to see what happens. But it also is going to be a long journey. She's going to walk right past the medical facility. Which, yeah, I think we have enough here to upgrade another.
You're back. Do you need medical
implant?
All right.
Let's see.
That would be it. Very well.
Do we not have enough? Okay, we barely are missing. We can do this, I think. I think we can do this at least. Sell the ant meat. Sell the cave fungus. You know, if you sell a Nuka-Cola and the value is 20, but you drink a Nuka-Cola and it gives you 1 cap, it's way more valuable to sell the Nuka-Colas, isn't it? Yeah, come to think of it. As long as you have either stim packs or sunset sarsaparillas. Sunset sarsaparillas, on the other hand, only give you 3, and that's with my barter skills. They probably only would give you 1 if your barter skills were the default level. I feel like I should also sell a couple of those. That was too many. Let's see. Okay, we are almost perfect there. That's good enough.
All right. That would be it. Have a seat in the auto dock.
So now, let's see. With the subdermal, could probably have used some healing. My HP seems to be still 390. So I would just have to assume that the subdermal armor total damage threshold has been increased by 4. But it doesn't seem like they really tell you a damage threshold. So you'd have to kind of just figure it out. I'm assuming we are in a much better position now, but it may not really be that obvious until people start throwing grenades at me or rockets at me. And it seems like the lady has made it to the location faster. Because I took that side quest. And I'm assuming I'm not going to get shot on a second attempt to run to the gate, since fast travel is also not having the boomer shoot at me. This guy should give me 400 caps. Well, I would be lucky if he gave me 600 caps for making it to the gate, as far as a gamble.
Jumping Jesus on a pogo stick. You're the first one to make it through alive, let alone manage a return trip. Yep, here are your caps.
Let's see, do we want a speech and a lie thing? Sure.
You drive a hard bargain.
That'll give us more XP.
Have a nice day.
Okay. So what I wanted to see here is if there was another Brotherhood of Steel guy. Nobody's shooting anything at me, so I assume I can just kind of wander around. But my perception in my map isn't going to help me much. There's no markers on the map for items or corpses or anything like that. Yeah. I would really like to have seen how that was supposed to really work, whether we were supposed to like jump through these sections and dive for cover. It is almost certainly a case where, there we go, we've now finished that quest, so it was worth going back there. Yep. It's almost certainly a case where the Fallout TV series could show a sequence like that and make it much more interesting as a cinematic experience versus having the player play that. And most people would not agree with the idea of QuickTime events, but maybe a cutscene around this concept of running through a boomer field would have been nice. Inherently, I suppose, if every time there was a skill check, that would have been an opportunity for a fail or succeed cutscene. You could do something fairly interesting with that. Like, so if it was you talked to the guy and made the bet that you couldn't make it to the fence to start with, and then your skills were checked, and then you just saw a cutscene of you running to the fence that was really cinematic and cool looking. Now there is, imagine a gate here, which you don't have the key to, and so from this point to this point we really should go and investigate it more. It still might be easier to just fast travel back to Nellis Air Force Base. Yep, just easier to do that than it is to walk around the fence. Okay. And we'll return to Jack and see what's going to happen here. Best case scenario is that they are madly in love. Worst case scenario, they start bickering immediately, and one of them kills the other. I guess they're over here.
Hello. It's great to finally meet you.
Hi there. It's great to meet you as well.
I'm glad you made it out here. You're even more stunning up close than you were at a distance.
And you're even more handsome up close. Do you think it'll be okay if I hang around here for a little while, so we can get to know each other better?
Of course it would. I'll have you set up with some quarters with some of the other women. Hello.
Our guys put the monorail back to work.
I can't believe we may see the super fortress built in my lifetime.
I don't know what those two lines of dialogue are even about. Did the Crimson Caravan fix the monorail after it got exploded? That's the first I've heard of it.
Thank you for getting me here. Jack is a great guy.
Thank you for getting Janet to Nellis. I've never been so happy in my entire life.
So, that's it. That's the entirety of that quest, I guess. Meanwhile, I think we're gonna go ahead and still just throw things into sneak. Which, yeah, 2, maybe 3 level ups with your intelligence at the maximum, and you can make a significant dent into a particularly low level experience. Explosives would be one to start targeting next. I imagine once we get sneak up to as high as we'd like it to be, probably about 80, throwing a couple points into lockpick and medicine to get that to 80 and repair to get that to 80s is a decent thought. Throw a couple points into speech, 1 point in the survival just to get to round numbers. Barter could possibly even go up, but explosives is a thought. And I don't think we have anything new still. It is worth checking this out. 50 more points of 50 more pounds of equipment carrying would be nice. Terrifying presence. Probably not needed. Let's see, equivalent of 5 extra points of luck. It does seem like there are some new things just in the middle here, where probably would have made more sense to show what the new things are. Never set off a enemy mine or floor-based trap. We could tag another skill, giving it 15 points. Don't think that's the right move. So we could take the Explorer perk at level 20. I thought that would be a later perk. If you kill a target, 20 extra points for VATS would be helpful. Although that is a perk that you basically should have at the beginning of the game. So, let's see. What other skills can we not get? And let's see if any of them are level based, or are we actually a lot closer to the end here? Yeah, I'm not sure that any of these are based on specific rank or required levels. These are all like level 2, level 4 requirements, and then they just have a high amount of survival skill or explosion skill that you would need to get the perk. Level 6, level 8. So as we get the stats higher up, you get more opportunities for perks. Well, most of them not really that necessary. Yeah. To be a cannibal weirdly just requires level 12 in cannibal. And becoming a cannibal, I don't know how you get that. Maybe there was another perk labeled cannibal you have to get first. Here's a perk that might be worth it. Weapons heavier than 10 pounds now weigh half as much for you. Modified weapons drop below 10 pounds will not gain that benefit. Interesting. So as we think about potentially upgrading using the Gunrunner's Arsenal DLC, weapons might get heavy enough to justify that perk. Here you could fast travel if you were over encumbered, which might be helpful. Although I haven't really been prevented from fast traveling while being over encumbered that much. Let's see. Repairing things with a wider subset of things might be interesting. Power armor with metal armor, for instance, sounds like a great perk. So we just now have gotten to the level 20 perks. All of these, though, are kind of silly. Unlocking new Coca-Cola recipes at the workbench might be an interesting thing to take. Spray and pray might be helpful if you're going to do a rocket launching build. Damaged books you pick up become blank magazines, which you can use to copy existing skill managements or convert blank magazines back to books. That almost seems worth it, but you can't take damaged books and turn them into regular books. Gain 1% to earned experience per level gained. Why would you take that, though? That's a bad choice. Movement speed greatly increased while sneaking in light armor. Not really worth it. We've never gotten that well rested benefit. We still don't have a house. Another 50 pounds. Carry weight if you'd want it. Sneak even when your Pip-Boy light is on. Oh, so sneak doesn't work if you have the flashlight on. That's great. Great to learn that. At level 50, your karma can be reset to 0 and you regenerate 8 action points 25% faster, and your action speed is increased by 20%. Also immune to critical hits. This would require you to have bad karma. And then this one is neutral karma. So level 50 is the last level without DLC. And then this would be positive karma. So you can only get one of these perks. You can either play as a bad guy to level 50, which would really, I think, ruin your game. Play as a neutral character, which would be difficult. Or, more likely, you're going to play as the good guy with good karma. Karma being reset, you inflict 10 plus 10% damage, and for every 100 points of karma, you gain 10 health. You're also immune to critical hits. So that would make you really, really powerful. So at level 50, then you could play as a bad guy and kill everybody. But yeah, we have learned 2 important things here. Level 50 is the end of the perks, unless the DLC adds some more. And still seems like intensive training is going to be your best bet until we can just no longer take it. So by increasing agility up, that'll increase my sneak skills also, which, yeah, our sneak here is at 66, so it didn't go up much.
Our guys put the monorail back to work.
Okay. Now, do we have anything else we want to turn in today? There's some more optional things we could do with Still in the Dark. This Volaire probably makes a lot of sense as far as another side quest to do. You could also finish and turn in that quest, and we can go to Vault 34. There's still just a lot of other things. Like, the war quest still needs us to find a way to get to Foxtrot Ranger Station, which we haven't found a way to get there, and that gives us an excuse to Jacobstown. Or we could do this, which I'd kind of like to investigate this area a little bit. And so my thought is that we'll, in the next episode, kind of investigate this area a little bit and then see if we can just walk this way and find anything new between this section. It looks like if we followed this road, in particular one of these roads, that we would probably find some new things to interact with. We could just also fast travel here and swim there, or fast travel here and swim there. There is still a massive amount of stuff that we haven't touched in a very, very long time. And so I question if maybe we just have not started the right missions, or if there actually is just a far smaller amount of missions for all these cities down here. Still feels like there's probably 10 to 20 new locations to find at the minimum. Finding all the locations and just unlocking them with a perk might make sense, but also we just have a lot of story here still. A lot of quests that we are failing to really fully finish. Also, we could just be listening to the radio probably to find locations. I am happy with the specials. I am happy with the stats at the moment. We are roughly at halfway point of the entire game, and we're in a pretty good position. There is an obvious situation with Bethesda games and Fallout games in particular, though, that science and repair are way more important than anything else, and then medicine and barter are more important than everything else beyond that. And then speech is probably pretty important every now and then. But then energy weapons, explosives, guns, unarmed, all of those things, survival, are very, very low priority. There's a very bad balance there. I'm not sure that the special skills are balanced really in any way. And it definitely doesn't feel like there are, if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different base stats here, it doesn't feel like there's 7 to 14 different ways to play the game where you could have your intelligence at the highest or the lowest, or your strength at the highest or the lowest. It definitely seems to me like if you turned your luck all the way down and you turned your intelligence all the way down and just put a ton of points into things like maybe endurance or perception or agility, that you would have at the beginning of the game a very unmanageable build as a character. There is obviously too much going on in this Pip-Boy menu, and the fact that Pip-Boys are so iconic is highlighting, though, how much they rely on the menu, whereas it would be better if the games didn't have an iconic menu interface that you spend incredibly large amounts of time on. You definitely see it in the items, that there's just way too many items. for New Vegas in particular, the unique bullet system seems to have failed pretty terribly. But yeah, can't fast travel from this location. Let's go ahead and exit out and fast travel and just know where we're going. Alright. Just a coffee mug in that police car. There is a fairly high risk too that I'm never going to use another gun. I have 507 bullets right now, and I question if I could craft more bullets. I wonder if maybe we're going to use these railroad tracks to bring the bomber in. If you were going to do that, though, you'd have to connect it some way, and I'm not sure there's a way to do that. You could put it here, and then run it here, and then it would have to go through here. And so I am suspecting that there's a tunnel there. Our overall relationships are increasing, I guess, now that we have boomers who we are idolized for. And frankly, it seems like we could have been idolized, or liked at least, by almost everybody in the game, even Caesar's Legion. We are probably 30, maybe even 40 hours into the game, and when you look at these specific numbers, I question why the game needs to be this slow. Like, we've only completed 25 quests. We've discovered 79 locations. Apparently we've only killed 79 people. That seems very strange, to be such a low number. Like, lockpicks are in the 60s. Computer hacks are down in the 20s. We haven't really taken any chems. We know if we did take chems, we'd get addicted. We haven't picked any pockets. We haven't put any cherry bombs in pockets, which is what I think explodes pants. We've only read 10 books. We haven't created any weapons. I don't know how you really would create a weapon right now with the amount of expense. I've not drinking any water at all. There's definitely a lot of these stats that you are going to barely use. So what that really highlights is there's kind of a need for New Game Plus just to be able to do and experience everything. And I guess that makes a great point as far as some of these open-ended role-playing games, is you're really creating a situation where it's highly, highly unlikely any one player would see even half of your content, because bad guy endings or bad guy pass versus good guy pass, unless somebody really is going to play your game 2 or 3 times. And by modern times, nobody's going to do that. Most players don't even get to the credits of video games, let alone playing them a second time. Yep. So I guess I'll leave it at that. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, and keep on watching. Thanks.